Hi, my name's Joa. I blog and design SVG files, which you can find at specialheartstudio.com. Today, I'm going to show you how to cut and assemble on a Cricut machine one of my free layered letter mandala designs. You can find the entire alphabet free on my blog, along with material list and brief written instructions to go along with this video. So let's get started. One of the first steps that you'll want to do is decide how large or small that you're going to cut your letter. I'm using a 9x9 shadow box, and so I want to measure the inside of the frame. Even though the shadow box itself is 9x9, I've learned that the inside dimensions can be smaller. So the inside of my frame measures 8.5 inches. So I'm going to cut my letter S that I'm doing today at 4.5 inches wide. Now that I've decided on the size, I've chosen the colors. These are ones I've used before, so it was fairly easy. Choosing colors is one of the hardest parts of this entire project. So to get started, we're going to upload the SVG into Design Space. I clicked upload, and then you'll navigate to where you've saved the file. Make sure that when you download it that you unzip the folder so that you can get to the SVG format. This design does also come in DXF format. That is for Silhouette users who use the basic edition. So you'll click save once you've found and clicked on the letter that you're looking for. You can then highlight the letter in your uploaded images and click insert image. From here, you're going to want to size it based on what your use. I showed a bit ago how I measured the inside of the frame because it can be quite different depending where you purchased a frame from the actual frame size. So for this 9x9 shadow box, the inside portion was 8.5 inches. I've decided I'm going to cut this letter S at 4.5 inches. You can use the slider here, or you can come up here, use the up down arrows. I prefer to just type and then hit tab. And that resized the width to where I wanted it at 4.5 inches. Now you'll want to make sure that the colors that you're using somewhat match. Since I'm using all of those ranges of pink, it's a little more difficult, which is why I numbered the order on the pieces of paper. I've found that little hack helps me, because if I try to pick different shades of pink here, I get confused because Cricut rearranges the mat order and it can get kind of confusing, especially on these layered projects. So what I have found is I usually leave the top layer to be white. I know on my project I'm going to use the rose gold foil for the top layer. So obviously the computer doesn't know what color you're really cutting. So what matters is the material on your mat. So from there, I use the rainbow colors because I have learned that Cricut cuts in rainbow order. So I change to the next layer to red. We'll go to orange, yellow. My fifth layer will be green. And the last layer I will do blue. This tricks Cricut and Design Space into keeping my layers in the order that I wanted them, and the order that I've lined up my paper. So here you'll see the white is first, and then red, orange, yellow, green, blue. So now we're ready to get started. We'll click continue. The material I'm using for this shadow box happens to be the Recollections brand from Michaels. It's 65-pound weight cardstock. Uh, I have done enough of these that I know that this light cardstock setting works perfectly with my maker. And I use the light cardstock setting with the blue mat. From here, you want to prepare your cutting mat. I have found that when using paper, if I use the brayer, I get a much better result and have less paper ripping because it's slipping than if I don't, especially if the mats are not brand new. So if you're having troubles and haven't used a brayer, I'd highly recommend that you give it a try. Now that I have the very top layer, which I cut in the rose gold foil cardstock cut, I'm going to show you how I remove the paper from the mat. I like to think of it as removing the mat from the paper. You'll have much better success in not ripping the paper if you gently bend the mat back while carefully removing the paper. So you'll repeat the process 6 times for these letters, using the brayer to stick the paper to your mat, and then bending the mat back gently, not so much that it'll snap, um, to get the paper off. Now that I have all the layers cut, I'm going to go ahead and assemble the project. Um, for the top layer, I use a spray glue. Um, it's just too thin to use the foam tabs, so I've had really good luck and like to use the Elmer's Craft Bond Glue. It's a spray adhesive that's repositional. I use a cardboard box so that the spray doesn't get all over my desk and have glue all over my desk. So I'll glue that on and set it aside, and then I lay out the remainder of the letters to adhere the foam tabs. I like to start from the bottom when using the foam tabs, and I'll put just a few kind of evenly spaced around the edges and 1 or 2 in the middle when it's a big piece, and then line them up and stick it on to the bottom. And you really just repeat this process 3-4 times until you have all of the layers assembled. It's that easy. I hope you've enjoyed this quick little tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'd love if you would subscribe to my channel here, and feel free to visit my blog at specialheartstudio.com. There you will find not only the layered alphabet mandala SVG files free, but quite a few different layered designs and designs perfect for t-shirts or tote bags. Absolutely free.